All right, everybody. So if you are back for week 13, can you believe that we're already in week 13 of our knitted blanket along, then you may have noticed that I cut my hair. Totally not related. But yeah, I decided it was time for a cut because it had been like a whole year, I think. And anyway, it was time. But that is an aside. So, and Marshmallow has joined me as per usual. He does like to come up here while I'm talking. So we are getting ready to do week 13's square, which means that, yeah, we're like really cruising along on this year, aren't we? It like never seems like it's going by that fast. And yet I know that I have a pile of squares here. So it's definitely going by. And it's been interesting so far. I think we've had a lot of fun with our squares, and we are going to continue to have more fun. I still have a few patterns left that we haven't made in my knitted blanket along, and in addition to that, I'm going to be designing a few more because we're going to do a brand new pattern every week. So yeah, I'm going to have to come up with some more patterns, which is totally fine. Anyway, so let's see. Last Wednesday, because I'm not shooting this on Wednesday, I actually went to my parents. I have a few short lamb videos that I will get up soon. And I do mean short, they're like a minute. Anyway, I went to my parents and we had a high of 70 for our Wednesday because if you recall, I am doing my Wednesday temperatures just randomly. And I'm using a US 3 needle and the Mian cotton because that's what made me happy. Oh, there went Marshmallow. And anyway, so 70 means that we are going to be using Blue Moon, which is one of my favorite colors. I really like Blue Moon a lot. So I'm going to turn the camera down and we will take a look at what our pattern options are for our square so that we can make our week 13 square. All right, hang on. Okay, so here we are, and I know you've seen this before, but this is, of course, my tracker so that I know what temperature I assign to what color, and I don't forget. And again, reminders for myself that I'm using my US 3 needle, that I'm using my Mian cotton yarn, and that Wednesday is my temperature day. So I know that we are going to be doing Wednesday. Which was a high of 70, which means we're going to grab Blue Moon. So I went ahead and got out the Blue Moon and the US 3 needles so they're ready to go. And we're also using my blanket along pattern, which remember calls for a different yarn and a different needle. Just ignore that. And let's see, we've already done all 3 of these. And all 3 of these, so don't want that. Oh, and now we've hit a sheet that has less. So what should we do? I've got flying geese, horizontal parallelogram, the imitation lattice. I don't think we've done little checks yet. Let's see. There's the ridge check pattern. I'm trying to think. So we did stripes and we did chevrons, but I don't think we did... Now I'm looking through my pile. No, we just did stripes and chevrons. So we could do color work, because color work's always fun. Or I'm kind of feeling like maybe some cables would be fun. So maybe let's try flying geese. So flying geese uses these 2/2 cables to the right and the left. So this is a 4-stitch cable. I say 2/2 because it's 2 stitches moving over 2 stitches. And we have 2/2 to the right, 2/2 to the left. And then we also have these tiny little 1/1s, which again, these are 2-stitch cables and you're moving 1 stitch over the other stitch. So very small, very, very small cables. And with this pattern, we would cast on 34. We're going to use Blue Moon for our color, work 1 row of purls. And then repeat the entire chart 3 times before we work 1 row of knits and then bind off. But I may end up having to work like 3.5 repeats of this chart in order to make my squares fit. So yeah, I think we're gonna do a flying geese. So that means I need to cast on with my Blue Moon, and I need to cast on 34. All right, I have my 34 stitches cast on and ready to go. And remember, we're going to work one row of purl before we get into our pattern today. So I am just going to go ahead and, I could slip that first stitch, but I think I'll just go ahead and purl all the way across. It'll give me a nice base. Purled one row, I'm going to go ahead and work the first row of my chart. Now I'm only going to show you row 1 for this chart because we'll be repeating our 2 over 2 left, excuse me, 2 over 2 rights, 2 over 2 lefts, and the 1 over 1 rights and the 1 over 1 lefts. And so once I've shown you how to do them on the first row, you should know how to do them. Alrighty. First, we're going to slip 1 stitch and then knit 1 and 2. Now we are going to do a 1 over 1 right cross, which means that we are going to stick our needle in the second stitch from the end of our needle tip, and we have to move it to the front, pop the first stitch off the back, and put it on our left-hand needle, and then return the second stitch to that left-hand needle. And now we can knit and knit. Now to do the 1 over 1 left cross, we are going to go the opposite direction. So that means that we have to stick our needle tip in the back and pop our stitches off. Grab that first stitch, pop the second stitch back on the left-hand needle, and knit 1 and 2. Now we will purl 2 stitches, knit 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we come to our 2 over 2 cables. This is a 2 over 2 to the right. We can tell this because the slant faces to the right. We're going to insert the needle tip into the front of the 3rd and 4th stitch on our needle. Grasp the base and pop all 4 stitches off. Then take the stitch, 2nd and 1st stitches and put them back on the left-hand needle. And swap the position of stitch 4 and stitch 3. Now we will knit, 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 and we have made our 2 over 2 right cable. So now we're going to do the 2 over 2 left cable. That means we're going to go in the back and stick our needle tip in the back of stitches 3 and 4. We're going to grasp the base and pull all 4 stitches off, and then stick our needle tip in stitch 2 and stitch 1, and then place stitch 4 and stitch 3 back on that left-hand needle so that we can knit, 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 knit. Now we'll knit 4 stitches, purl 2, and we're almost done with row 1. We're going to do that 1 over 1 right cross again. Remember, we're going to stick the tip of our needle in the 2nd stitch from the end, pop both of the stitches off, place stitch 1 back on the left-hand needle, and then stitch 2, and knit, knit. We're going to do this again, but remember we have to do a left cross this time. So we'll stick our needle tip in the back of our stitch, pop both stitches off, place the first stitch back on the left-hand needle, and then the 2nd stitch, and now knit, knit. And we will end our row with knit 3 stitches. And there we go. We're going to just keep making cables as we go further on in our block. And remember, we're going to repeat the chart at least 3 times before we work 1 row of knitting and then bind off. Now I have a suspicion that I will work this whole chart 3.5 times before I work a row of knitting and then bind off. So that's kind of where I think it's going to be. And on that back side, we are going to just knit our knits and purl our purls. So it's going to be slip 1, we're going to purl 6, knit 2, and then purl, gosh, that's a lot, 16, purl 16, knit 2, and then purl 7 to finish out our row. And that's pretty much what we're going to do on every wrong side row is we are just going to knit our knits and purl our purls. And anyway, I have already gone ahead and done my second row now. So I'm just going to keep working on this square, and I will be back when my square is finished to share with you what it looks like. So see you in a little bit. Okay, I'm back. Clearly it's a different day, but I'm back and I have my finished square, and doesn't it look lovely? I really love cables. I love the way that they, well, crisscross, because that's what cables do. But look, isn't that so pretty? I like my little 1/1 cables here and those 2/2 cables there. But anyway, love how this turned out. Super pretty. Now I did have to do 3 full repeats of my chart plus 2 extra rows, but only 2 extra rows. It wasn't the full half chart that I thought I would have to do in order to make my square sort of square, because that is, of course, the point of making squares. So anyway, that is week 13. I can't believe week 13 is done. I'm sorry that this is a little bit late, but like I said, I was gone. And I didn't get my videos done. So anyway, I'll be back with week 14 very soon, because it's time to do week 14. But there we go. Here's my week 13 square. I think it looks great. Now I do want to remind you all, we're in a new quarter, so it is time to post to social media and make sure that you are hashtag Black Sheep Fiber Emporium, hashtag Black Sheep Pearly Pirates if you are participating in our blanket along in any capacity. So knit, crochet, tat, weave, whatever, any capacity, stitch, if you're embroidering. Just make sure that you're tagging your posts with Black Sheep Fiber Emporium or Black Sheep Pearly Pirates so that I can find it and enter you in our quarterly contest. So we're going to have kind of an ongoing quarterly contest. If you're posting about Black Sheep and helping us get the word out about us, we're going to reward you. So one person every quarter is going to get a little prize from Black Sheep. And it could be anything. A lot of times it'll be gift certificates just so you can pick out what you want. But sometimes it could be hand-dyed yarn or hand-dyed roving or, I don't know, maybe a card from Marshmallow with your gift certificate. Sure, we could do that, right? I can put some paint on his little kitty paws. Ina does that all the time. We could do an Ina card. She loves sending cards with stickers. But we could do an Ina card with your gift certificate. Don't worry, it won't be just a card from Ina. But anyway, so make sure that you are posting, that you are telling people about the YouTube channel that you have subscribed yourself. And it helps us every time you click that like button or you leave us a comment, because it lets YouTube know that, hey, we're doing okay. And maybe somebody else would like to check us out. So make sure that you have subscribed to our YouTube channel, that you have followed us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Don't forget our newsletter. I do send out a monthly newsletter, just once a month, with kind of what happened during that month, what we have coming up as well. And don't forget that I am teaching and vending a lot of different places, and so is Tina, and we can't wait to see you this year. If there is a lace day or a yarn festival near you that you think we ought to know about, don't hesitate to send us an email or drop us a comment and tell us which one we should go see, because we're always looking for new places to vend and go meet new people and teach, because I love teaching. So anyway, I will see you all next time. Take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and craftually, as I like to say. Make sure that you are doing at least that 15 minutes of crafting every single day. And if you're like me, just, try to keep the kitty out of your crafts. All right, bye.